got Hylton, Scott Talks. They have that Silva Thorn. Look, the little duckies are in the pool. How funny there they got. Today we're going to talk about ODYSSEY on ABC and next day on Hulu. It's got lukewarm reviews on Internet Movie Database and on Rotten Tomatoes. It's just average show, but there's something about it. Don Johnson, you remember from Miami Vice, is in it. Phillipa Soo, who played Elijah Hamilton in the Hamilton play that you see on Disney Plus, is in it. Joshua Jackson from when he was young, Dawson's Creek. And he's been in a lot of other things. I think he just did the first season of Dr. Death. That was interesting. So it's got a lot of big stars in. The new guy, Sean, I can't remember his last name, British actor. Reminds me of a young Sean Connery. He has that look. He still needs to go to the gym. You know, he might get a little of that, but he could be a potential Bond. In the back of my mind, I'm like, give him 10 years, he could be a Bond, unless they, if they were going to go with a young Bond this time around, get him from Commander Bond to 007, which is kind of what they do with Daniel Craig, but he was already a little older, a little more experienced. He was a great Bond. He would be up for it. I remember producers were talking about Pierce Brosnan back in the day. Met him and went, interesting, because his girlfriend was a Bond girl for a brief scene in Roger Moore's movie. And but Dr. Odyssey, it's about this really, really rich person's cruise ship, and Don Johnson's the captain, and our guy from Dawson's Creek is the main new doctor on this thing, and Phillipa is one of the big nurses, aides, who knows as much as the doctors, and Sean is, I think it's Sean is his name, Sean. He's also one, like a lieutenant or something, a doctor, nurse. And the thing that gets me about it is it's super exclusive. It's super, they have themes every week of different crazy things that go on the ship. And they just did the Shark and Orca two-parter. That was cool. That was really cool. I look at the sets, they have this immaculate, they don't have everything, but they have almost everything you need to save someone's life. And the good thing about the show is not everyone gets their life saved. You could still go south. And I like that. It's not as fluffy as many of the shows on network TV. But network TV is always, we always win. We always find the bad guy. We always, that sometimes that's a little too, and you get something on streaming and you get, more things happen that you won't get on network TV. And it's more mature, but this is a more mid-level show that I like it. It's like a guilty pleasure for me and my wife. We'll watch it, and let me get this down. And it's a simple guilty pleasure. It's something to watch. And after that Shark episode, we were all in on that Work episode. And it introduced 2 more characters that could be potential returning people. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking if they ever did a spin-off show, and you just use the same set, you just have a different name for the ship, and the lady could have been a doctor on the next ship, and a young guy, he's bridge crew type thing. So we'll see if they return later on next season or whatever. But it's worth the watch. It's worth checking out. It's these crazy impossible situations. They always have to make these crazy medical decisions. And it's the thing that I noticed on The Pit is a great medical show. If you want a show that's if you only want one medical show to watch, you need The Pit from Max, HBO Max. Yeah, that's with Noah Wiley. That's by far a great medical show. This is a guilty pleasure show. This is like, what are we going to watch? It was Thursday or Friday night. I had it. And you're like, called Doc Odyssey. They got the orcas on now. Part 2 was orcas, part 1 was sharks. It was neat. I liked it. I did like that. Occasionally they have some strange episodes, but it's still good, and they get great guest stars. It's not like they get the older guest stars. They got Raquel Welch early on, and she's already made a return appearance. They got Shania Twain, and like one of the first 2 episodes, she made an appearance. And they all are interested in the captain, of course, Don Johnson. So it's a good show to veg out. And, you look at the reviews and you're like, yeah, it's not going to be super great. That's all right. A lot of network shows compared to streaming service shows are guilty pleasures all the time because of the fluffy nature of they have to be a little more politically correct for their audiences. They have to, lighten it up, depending on if they're at the 8 o'clock time slot. They can't have too much violence or language. But it's great to just sit back, kick back entertainment. And I highly recommend it. I do. Just kick back entertainment. Don't expect brain surgery. I look at the set with the medical thing and go, wow, that's awful big for this. I'm trying to think, how many, does it take up the whole half the ship? This big giant area for the medical area. Plus the sets for his main doctor's place where he stays and stuff. It's a nice ship. All the rich people that come on board, it's exclusive. It has exclusive themes, exclusive looks, things happen. So it's not Carnival, okay? Carnival. No, it's smaller than a Carnival, I would think, but it has main things going on there. It's very good. So I would say give it a shot. See if you enjoy it. On Hulu, it's got to be in reruns. And just sit back, kick back. Don't expect a miracle. A lot of the Rotten Tomato scores weren't great. Just sit back and say it's not supposed to be great. It's supposed to be mindless entertainment. It's different. A different doctor ship. That cruise ship. At sea, that emergencies happen all the time, and someone's going to die, and they have to try to save them and figure out what's wrong with them, because it's always just something odd and weird, like on most of these new doctor shows now. And the show Doc is also on right now, and that's pretty good. That's quality-wise, it's probably better than Doc Odyssey, I would say. Okay, Doc is a good show, and I kept watching Doc going, how do I know this lady that's the star? And I loved Lost in Space, the reboot on Netflix. And she was Maureen Robinson. And she was pretty much in charge, as opposed to the husband. The husband was more military, she was more scientist. And she called a lot of the shots and carried a lot of the show, along with the guy that was the husband. And he was in Black Sails, the big captain in Black Sails. If you ever watched Black Sails, which was a really cool pirate show. Very cool. They took the aspect of using real life pirates for the stories, and Nassau, Bahamas, Caribbean, all that area, and occasionally throwing in a couple of fictitious pirates, like Long John Silver was in the show. And you're like, hey, the guy with the peg leg. And then eventually you found out how he got that peg leg, and the guy lost his leg and had to, hobble around. But that was a good show. So I encourage you to check out Doc Odyssey. Check it out. Come on. Tell me in the comments if you didn't like it. You're like, Scott, this ain't gonna make it into the season. Oh, yeah, Mike. He's got big stars. Getting big audience. If they get the big audience score, that's all it's gonna. And the ratings for the commercials, that's all it'll count. They're making the money. That'll be all that counts. So I encourage you to check it out. Have a great day. Like and subscribe. You know the deal. Bye.